All right, we're going to talk about a piece of tech that is so deeply a part of our lives, we don't even see it anymore. We just expect it. But its origin story, it wasn't some genius in a lab with a careful plan. Nope, it was a complete and total accident on a snowy mountain. And believe me, it completely changed the way we see the world.
No, really, just stop for a second and try. Picture the Super Bowl, the World Cup, any huge championship game. Now, just delete the slow motion replays. Take away the analysis, that frame-by-frame breakdown of a super controversial call. It's basically impossible, right? The entire way we watch sports, the very fairness of the game itself, it all hinges on this one thing.
You know, before 1960, the final word on any play was just what the referee saw, or what he thought he saw, in a literal split second. His naked eye was the absolute, unquestionable authority. And today? Today we have these billion-dollar command centers with like 100 different camera angles. So how on earth did we get from there to here? Well, the journey starts in a place you would never, ever expect. That's right. The technology that defines pretty much all modern sports wasn't born in Silicon Valley or some high-tech broadcast studio. It was born at the 1960 Winter Olympics in Squaw Valley, California, right in the middle of all the chaos and excitement of the games. See, the 1960 games were totally different from anything that had come before. When Squaw Valley won the bid to host, it was basically just a spot on a map. There was nothing there. So the organizers had to build this entire high-tech village from the ground up, and they created what was essentially a futuristic sporting utopia. It was all designed to just wow the world. And it was definitely futuristic. I mean, the opening and closing ceremonies were designed by Walt Disney himself. They had massive IBM computers processing all the scores, and this is a big one, for the very first time, the games were broadcast live to millions of Americans. So CBS was there, and they brought these brand new cutting-edge videotape recorders, which were ridiculously heavy, by the way. But they weren't thinking about replays. They were just trying to film some highlights to show on the evening news later. And get this, CBS paid just $50,000 for the exclusive broadcast rights. 50 grand, that's it. It just goes to show you how new all of this was. Nobody really understood the massive value of broadcasting sports live, or the incredible power of the technology they were lugging around. So, the big moment, the one that changed everything, it happened during the men's slalom competition. Now, this is an event where every single millisecond is critical. You've got skiers just rocketing down an icy mountain, weaving through all these gates, and the rule is absolutely brutal. If you miss a single gate, even by a hair, you're done, immediately disqualified. So yeah, the stakes could not have been higher. And then it happened. An athlete just blasted down the course, kicking up this blinding spray of snow. He crosses the finish line, but the judges just froze. They were totally paralyzed. They couldn't make a decision. Between the flurry of snow and the unbelievable speed of the skier, they just could not agree. Did his skis legally go around one of the gates, or did he miss it? Now, in any other Olympics, at any other time in history, the officials would have had to do one thing: make a blind guess. That's it. An athlete's entire Olympic dream, years and years of training, would have come down to a shrug and just hoping they got it right. But 1960? 1960 was different. One of the officials glanced over at the CBS crew, and he had this crazy idea. This was the question that changed everything. The Olympic officials actually walked up to the CBS producers with this completely bizarre, unheard-of request. Could we look at the television tape? You gotta remember, videotape was a professional broadcast tool. It wasn't for judges. But the crew said, yeah, okay. So let's break down how this accident became an invention. Okay, first, you've got the dilemma. The judges are stuck. Then you have this totally weird request to see the tape. So the CBS crew rolls these giant, heavy reels of tape back. And as the judges are huddled around, watching the playback to make the right call, the CBS executives in the control room had this huge aha moment. They realized, hey, if the judges need to see that again, wouldn't the viewers at home love to see it again too? And from that moment, the idea just exploded. The accident in 1960 proved it could be done. Then, just 3 years later, in 1963, a CBS director named Tony Verna intentionally used the first ever instant replay on air during the Army-Navy football game. And by the end of the 1960s, it was just a standard part of every single sports broadcast. It happened that fast. And that first official replay in '63, it created this classic, kind of funny moment. So after they showed a touchdown, the director queued up the tape and played it again. Well, the audience at home had never seen anything like it. They were completely confused. It prompted the announcer to frantically shout into his mic, "Ladies and gentlemen, Army did not score again." They were literally explaining the concept of a replay to the world, live on the air.
So just think about that. This entire billion-dollar industry that decides championships and creates these legendary, iconic sports moments, it all tracks back to that one moment of total uncertainty on a mountain. It all started with a few judges who just couldn't see through the snow, and one athlete whose Olympic dream was hanging on what was basically a lucky guess. You know, this is how innovation so often works, right? It's not always this grand, planned out thing. Sometimes, the most world-changing ideas are just happy accidents. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other accidents out there have completely and totally shaped the world that we all live in today?